Welcome to the Football Show on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. I'm Peter Martin. Alan Ruff, Alec Ray and Tam McManus are with me here in the studio. Thank you very much to you for sticking with us over the course of the season in great numbers and of course following all of our content. Delighted of course that our main charity partner this season for the entire season is Maggie's Cancer Care. If you go to www.maggies.org you'll find out all the support that Maggie's can offer you, your family or friends that you know are affected by cancer. And the good news for everyone is lots of people are taking advantage of PLZ Soccer's premium service, additional content, exclusives, one-to-ones, early access to some of the Straight Talk interviews as well. And if you subscribe for the season, you're in the draw for this fabulous prize, which
Get ready for the trip of a lifetime to the Champions League final in Budapest. This is your chance to experience the ultimate footballing event of 2026. Sign up to PLZ Premium for the season and you're in the draw to win the VIP package to the final. Flights, accommodation and tickets all included for you and one friend. Unlock exclusive content and prize giveaways on PLZ Premium. Do not miss out on this incredible opportunity. Secure your spot for the 2026 Champions League final by clicking the link in our bio.
And of course, we welcome our new sponsors, Cameron Commercials and Adapt, who will be sponsors of the Football Show. There's more interesting developments coming up on PLZ Soccer that we hope you will embrace. But we get straight to the talking points, and there's lots of them as well, because Celtic and St Mirren will contest the Premier Sports Cup final in December after the two semi-finals at the weekend. Yellow and red cards have upset the fans in the Old Firm semi-final showdown. We're going to get the boys' thoughts on that. Martin O'Neill's open to a call from Dermot Desmond, potentially as the next manager of Celtic, or is there someone else that they should be looking to? And Hearts, when everybody was looking towards the semi-finals of the League Cup, Hearts were stretching their lead at the top of the Scottish Premiership to 9 points with an emphatic win over Dundee. And we'll also talk about Lawrence Shanklin returns to the Scotland squad. Steve Clarke has picked his squad for those two vital World Cup qualifiers coming up against Greece and Denmark. But Hampden Park yesterday was ablaze with not only green and white, blue and white, but black and white as well, because the man in the middle caused a fair bit of controversy, and we're going to get our teeth into that as well. It finished Celtic 3, Rangers 1 after extra time. What did you make of it, Ruffy?
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty exciting game, as you said. A lot of incidents that we'll probably talk about. I think obviously going down to 10 men for Rangers made it very, very difficult for them, but I think you have to give them full credit for making a game of it, for, you know, right till the end. You know, they tired a wee bit in the end, the extra time, the legs got better. You know, you could see with Celtic having a lot of possession at that time, but certainly a lot of incidents for us to talk about.
Better from Rangers, more optimistic in your mind, Alec?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the first half, it was very dominant by Celtic. I thought they caused them problems in the full-back areas once their wing-backs were advanced. And then when they dropped back and Celtic penned them back, they were getting a lot of joy through the middle of the park. So I think from that opening 45 minutes, I think Celtic tactically got it spot on. Obviously the talking points will take care of itself. The second half going down to 10 men, I thought Rangers were excellent. I thought the way they went about the press, went to a flat back four, which suited the game plan better. And as I said, as Ruffy just said there, I think you know, as the game was wearing on, you could clearly see visibly that the players were kind of starting to run on quicksand. And when you get the introduction of guys like James Forrest, Osman, it was just a little bit too much for them to make up that ground. And then Celtic ran out worthy winners in the end.
Yeah, it would have been difficult, Tam, to make it a better game than the last Old Firm game. I mean, even one shot and goal would have pleased everybody. But I always had the feeling that we were going to go to extra time. And to be honest with you, even before we got to extra time, boy, Celtic and Rangers had big opportunities.
Yeah, I thought it was one of the best Old Firm games I've seen in a while. I think.
You think so?
Yeah, I thought it was a great game, Peter. Yeah. I thought it was a great game. I think talking points. I think both teams could have, created loads of chances. Well. Yeah, loads of chances in the game. The Rangers created 2 golden chances with 10 men in the second half. So I thought it was a really, really exciting game of football. I thought Celtic were deserved winners. I thought first half, as Alex said, I thought they dominated the game. I think if they go 2-0, I think the game's done. But Rangers, to their credit, and they showed it at Easter Road as well, they've got a wee bit of spirit about them. I think Danny Rowles, rolled his sleeves up. They've got a wee bit of spirit about them, and they stayed in the game and they got their opportunity for one each. But yeah, listen, we're going to talk about the many talking points in the game, but I think if you're watching the game, I thought Celtic were deserved winners.
They went 3-1 in the end, and at the end of it, as soon as Martin O'Neill walks into the press room, everybody wants to ask him about the potential for Dermot Desmond to offer him this job on a full-time basis.
Well, I don't think there'll be that conversation, Peter. I genuinely don't think that would be the case. I've come in. Deep down, I probably have enjoyed it a bit better than I'm saying to you, but not a lot. And so it was really strange there. I've had an enormous help from backroom staff, young Sean and Mark Fotheringham and Big Stephen, all three that I managed at one stage or another. Gosh almighty, now they're standing beside me in the coaching ranks.
Well, he kind of ducked and dived on the answer first and foremost, Ruffy. But then, we went back to him and he said, he would take the call from Dermot to discuss, the potential of it. But it's a long way off, and he anticipates that they'll wait possibly to December with the international break and then go and get their man. But there's no doubt about it. He would love to lead Celtic out for the cup final. But I actually think, knowing him as I do, I did say to him, listen, you've had Carlo Ancelotti, you've had Dick Advocaat, you've had the late great Sir Bobby Robson, all into their late 70s, offering their services. And, you could tell he was itching. He got the buzz back.
Yeah, you can tell he knows the magnitude of what it is. He was quoting to say, how much it takes up your whole life, and he did say at the end he was getting very nervous about games, the tension and everything. But when you're in that kind of scenario, I don't care who it was, after winning a semi-final, you're up for it, aren't you? You're wanting it. Give me it now, and give me the final, give me this. So I think it'll be interesting.
Give me the 5 million.
Yes, it'll be interesting to see the names that obviously they indicate that they're going to go for. But I think if he gets the final, he'll be happy with that.
Yeah.
I think it's a bridge too far to go back to Martin O'Neill. I agree with you. I think the buzz that he's actually got over the last week or so is reinvigorated his love for the game, because he was obviously doing the punch race similar to this. But whenever you go back in and you're going like a full house at Hampden and the rivalry and the day-to-day preparation with young guys, I think he's obviously looked at it and thought, oh, I'll have some of that. But I think Celtic have bigger fish to fry. I think that if he gets to the final, depending when, you're absolutely right, I think December Celtic will announce their new manager. Martin O'Neill will be hoping that's late December so that he gets the opportunity to lead his team out.
Yeah, one of the key things that he did highlight in it, Tam, was he was keen to, really talk up Sean Maloney and Mark Fotheringham rather than take any of the great credit himself.
Yeah, I think he's obviously the experienced face at the minute, but I think the majority of the coaching will be done by Sean and Mark Fotheringham. I think they're very ambitious young coaches, and I think they'll be taking the training. And Martin will be, I think, managing players. Going round having a word in people's ears, and just try to get them fired up for games. I think the tactics and everything else that's done will be the two younger coaches. So, I spoke about it on Friday. We were speaking about with Martin taking. I did say that buzz that he's just got at the weekend, that's something he's probably missed from the game. Sitting on a couch and talking about football, he's missed that. But I think they've got Midtjylland on Thursday, and then they've got Kilmarnock, I think, on Sunday, and then it's international break. So again, if they go to Denmark and win and beat Kilmarnock, I think there'll be a wee bit of a clamour for them to get it longer term about the end of the season.
I think there's a wee element of the fans want that nostalgia back.
Yeah.
Without doubt. But however, I think Celtic have to look at a bigger picture.
The only problem with that, and this is the thing that could cloud the issue, is, if he gets a positive kind of result against Michelin, who obviously beat Nottingham Forest,
top of the group,
and are a tasty outfit, and then he gets something from Kilmarnock, as you say, Dermot Desmond, Irish connection. You know how this all pans out. You never know. He might get the buzz, but
Can you see it?
I can see suddenly
how it looks.
I can see how this board can suddenly diffuse all the anger towards them by saying, okay, we've given you your favourite, your Messiah's back, there you are, we've given it, and that takes your eye off all the real negativity surrounding the board. So it's the type of thing that, you might do, yes. But if it was me, I would be looking at it and saying, listen, Martin, lead them out in the final. This is a brilliant swan song. You'll never get a better chance. And then bring in a really forward-thinking European coach who's going to go there and say, right, now it's on to the next level. This European coach, if it was the boy from Bodo Glimt, Knutson, he might embrace Celtic's, strategy and model and be able to develop it. But listen, there's lots of people who love Martin. I am very friendly with him, which is amazing. You consider we used to beat the hell out of each other in press conferences. But I know he's got the buzz for it. To the game, lots of talking points. Don't want to miss out in your opinion, because the good thing about us all, we're going to give it, we'll probably deliver our opinion just as fierce as some of the tackles. So let's get to it. Any argument with Asgard?
No, I called it within 2 seconds. So as soon as the ball went over, initially didn't have to see a replay. I thought that could quite easily be a red card. So I don't have any qualms at all with that. I actually thought it was quite naive to think you can flick the ball over and then lead with your kind of studs. And he clearly catches them. So in the modern day, I have no qualms at all.
No qualms?
Nope.
All red card for that one?
Red card for me, yeah.
Okay.
That's a good start, isn't it?
It is a good start. It's a good start.
I have to say,
Here's where it disintegrates.
it is a tough one, because the boy showed a bit of skill.
What do you mean about skill? The ball's about 20 yards away from him, roughly.
No, when he's flicked it over the two Celtic players, you went, oh God, this boy's got something, and then obviously...
Do you think it was ball to foot?
Yeah.
Balls to
I thought it
foot.
was a red card.
To be fair, he did show a bit of skill with one ball, and then he had done the other two in as well when they were coming towards him. The next part is where it's suddenly... I don't think it's going to get a difference in opinion unless you're going to tell me differently, roughly. I'm going to you first because you're in that what I call goalkeepers union.
Okay.
So, Trusty, red card or not?
A red card. There's no need for him to put his foot in there. The goalkeeper's got the ball. The play's moved on up the park. Jack Buckland's just about to get up, I would think, and he's done his foot in, and he realises what he's done and try to pull it out as if, I didn't really mean that.
I think he pulls out when he catches him. I don't think he tries to pull it at all. I think he's caught him and then realises. What do you think of that, Tom?
I think he's naughty. I think he's left. He's just left it on there.
Did you see the lip reading of what he said to the player? When you see it close up, he's one of I think it's Diamandi. He's raging with him, and he goes, "I didn't mean it."
Right, okay.
And
that's all right then.
Well, the thing I was going to say to you,
he doesn't need to put his foot in there, but Murphy's right.
Because at the end of the day, it's one of those ones where you're saying to yourself, fine if you're trying to put your foot in at that timing issue when you're close to the ball, but not the way he did it.
Wasn't it a 50-50? Jack Buckland had the ball. There was no need for him to put his foot in because he was never going to get it.
Yeah, and I do think at that point, and this is where it gets interesting, guys, because Tam, I can't wait to hear your referee's review from Willie Collum on why VAR, who at times, this whole system with the three officials are constantly intervening. If they're not trying to find ways to stop goals, they're certainly intervening to a point where you're wondering whether the referee's actually refereeing the game. I thought right away, as soon as you saw it, I thought,
I know what Willie Collum. Rangers will obviously put a complaint in, and I know what Willie Collum's going to say. One, it wasn't reckless. It was the first one.
Serious foul play.
Two, and was there a serious intent to injure the player? Probably not.
What part of the rules does it say intent becomes part of it? That's not in the rules. There's no intent.
yeah, I mean, he's put the boot
Do you
on.
think it was reckless or extreme force?
But it's a serious foul play. You're endangering a player. If you're kicking,
I'm agreeing it's a red card, but I think that's what Willie Collum will say to them.
no, I think he will go down to the subjectivity of excessive force. That's where they'll go with it.
Yeah.
And so the interesting thing is, it's interesting you're talking about VAR having an impact, and with this particular referee, for me, we've seen this last year up at Dundee United.
Yeah.
When all the colleagues in the VAR van, whatever it is,
at Easter House.
selling cones on it at the half-time break. So anyway, but my point is, we've seen this last year with the Diamandi situation, where the on-field referee wanted to try and make a point of, I've seen this clear cut. He reviewed the footage and he doubled down So we've seen this last year.
Yeah.
So I think he's thought, we're sticking with this on field. There's not enough force in that. And he's basically says, don't even review it to there. So I'm fascinated to see the audio, listen to the audio, because I think it could be damning for him, because surely the VAR has to have a look at this and advise him in whatever way they feel appropriate. Otherwise, they're all saying it's a yellow card. To a man, today, when I've spoken to all the players that are in our dressing room, none of them have actually went, it's a yellow. Some of them were winding us up early doors and I went, no, but serious, what do you think? Yeah. And then, because it's obviously the banter years that they all love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And whatever way it falls, then you throw that in. But when you actually strip it back and you talk to the boys, they're going, what's a red card?
I don't think anybody in the press room afterwards, when you're waiting for the managers, I don't think anybody was saying yellow unless you were writing for the most ardent of bloggers or vloggers or whatever. But the excessive force part of it, it was just downright naughty. And at that part, when he does it, you know, I don't know about even the intent of it or the excessive force. He's endangering him when he puts his stud across his head. So I automatically thought he's going off.
Peter, do you know this? Because obviously it's subjective. You might go, he's not touched him, and the other guy was. See, when I've got Trusty running, because he thinks he's winning the ball, so he's running at a fair clip. He's not just tiptoeing there and going, I'll just dip a toe. So he's running at full tilt. Jack's coming the other way, and then you catch him flush in the face. So for me, at what point does that not become endangering the opposite player?
Yeah, I think Willie Collum and the referees will argue.
They'll come up with.
But that's what so again, it's subjective. That's my point, Tam. At what point do you say that's enough force on somebody's face? Because let me ask you a question. See, when you see the Ashgard one, you go, ooh, that's quite thingy. Would you prefer a kick with studs at the tip of your thigh, or getting volleyed, or getting the side of the head? What one would you prefer?
Probably in the thigh.
Yeah.
All day long.
Yeah. So I think we're all of the opinion that he should have got a red card. And we'll read out a lot of comments as they're coming in from the live feed, as well as if you want to drop us a line, you can do. You can download the PLZ Soccer app, and there's a contact section where you can give us your thoughts as well, and we'll read them out as the week goes on, because the great thing about Celtic and Rangers playing each other, it usually gets to mid-December before the before the madness actually settles down and people have stopped talking about it. But we thought it was a red card, and as we move on from that situation, if that's a red card, let's talk about the Ralston situation, Ruffy, because this one again is open to debate, because some Celtic fans are saying, well, listen, there was an altercation between Ralston and the Rangers player. He's falling down. Yeah, and the rules say that if he didn't make himself unnaturally bigger when falling, then why is he deemed it a penalty, even with the ball going to be on target? So is it a penalty in your mind?
Well, there's no question he threw himself in front of the ball, you know, to stop it getting in or getting towards the goal. The point with me is always when the referees say it's hit his elbow, is your arm in an unnatural position? I have to argue that I don't think it was, because it was in. No, his arms were in his body, so his elbow's no up there to stop it.
That's slightly different. When somebody hits the ball to you like this and you do that, you make yourself bigger.
Yeah.
But see, when you're falling to the ground, that is making yourself bigger, because you're making yourself bigger as the distance between the floor and there. So you make yourself bigger. If you're doing that, then you're just going to land your chest.
Do you think it was a penalty?
Well, I said to Tam, the fact that it actually was going on target and he's thrown himself in the line of the ball, I think it's a clear handball.
Do you know the great thing about it as well? And this is where I think, and I listen, we will read out lots of people's opinions on this as well, because that's the joy of it. The only thing missing here is, you know, pint of lager, and it's a great pub argument. But what happens is we read out some interpretation of the law, and then what happens is by the time you get to Willie standing in front of, you know, one of our screens, and he gives it, this is it, and this is how we interpreted the law, and this is, and they say it in such a way that you think, no, you're a dimwit, this is how it should have been interpreted. Now, I can tell you that on occasions in the last week alone, you know, Willie has been absolutely, you know, probably apoplectic with how people have interpreted some situations, you know, because you're still getting the human error on these things. I thought because he blocked the shot, it was a penalty.
I think it probably was a penalty, but I thought it was pretty harsh, Peter, the way he lands. The guy
No, but
smashes
Harsh
it.
doesn't come into it.
The guy smashes it. It's the handball rule. It's subjective, Peter. And 1 week you might get that, and they'll give it. The next week they might not, and that's the consistency. The consistency that annoys you. But he's fallen to the ground. The guy's lashed it at him for 2 yards. I mean, probably a penalty. The people calling for a red card, I think is totally wrong. I don't think it's a second. Don't think it's a second red.
See
There's no intent.
No,
deliberate.
There's one for you. So see the one a couple of weeks ago against Kilmarnock when it ricochets off the boy and the boys. I think he gave a yellow card there. You're not telling me that boy thinks that he's trying to do that deliberately for him,
inconsistencies of it.
This is what I'm saying, Peter.
Yeah.
So
You think,
you get it 1 week, you won't get it next.
Here's one thing. You think it's a penalty?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a penalty.
Me
Do you?
too, yeah.
No. Right, can I ask you this? Is it a yellow card? Because remember, not every incident is a yellow card. Is it a yellow card because he's off then?
No, and this is where it becomes a bit mishmash. That's my point, Peter. So there's no deflection on the ball, and it's just struck his hand. So then they deem, well, it's not worthy of a yellow card.
Right.
Yeah, somebody could hit from that camera 6 feet away, scud your thigh, hit my arm, and you get booked for that. And that is the inconsistency that people are going off their head about.
Yeah.
So again...
So you didn't think it was a yellow card?
No, but what I'm saying is, I don't know. That's what I'm trying to say. Yes, because 1 week it's a hitting off you, hitting me, and I get yellow carded.
Yes.
Yeah, there's no deviation of the ball there, and then go, nah, it's not a yellow.
He might have given him a yellow. He might have given him a yellow if he wasn't on a yellow.
Remember that a year or two.
Now hold on, you. Don't muddy the
He might have given him a yellow if he wasn't on a yellow.
You can't muddy the waters. That's supposition in your part.
They seem to come out with rules that
That's what I'm saying. It's so
They seem to come out with rules that we don't know. They bring out a rule. Do you remember the time with Connor Golson? Way back when the ball came up and they went like that, and we went, that's a stone waller. His hands are in an unnatural position. And then they came out and said, no, you're allowed to do that if it's going to hurt your face.
But let's be honest about it, Ruffy. And here is the crux of the matter. And this is probably what a lot of people will say in the anger and frustration from supporters up and down the country, whether you're red, blue, black, green, whatever. Is your favourite team's colours. The point is this: we don't all know the rules.
So you see, the thing is,
we don't.
So, Peter, we sit and watch football night after night. We watch it and we look at the decisions, and we're all sat here going, "How do you give it 1 week and you don't give it next week?" And that is it's a muddy in the water.
Yeah.
Because there's no consistency to that.
And I think that's the bit that's frustrating, because what you get, even over and above that, is when you get clarity on a decision that's made, suddenly 5 weeks later there's another one where they give you clarity again, which is totally the opposite of what they said 5 weeks before. So I can't wait to see what Willie Collum suddenly tells us all. And by the way, we're all Monday morning quarterbacks when it comes to determining what's right and what's wrong, but you've got ex-referees who are coming on and going, there's my interpretation on the television. And they're going, no, this is a penalty, that's a red card, this is a yellow card. And it brings me nicely to the next one, which is Cornelius with a tackle on Johnny Kenny, which, again, is open to interpretation. Was it a booking? Was it a...
I don't think it's
a red card?
I don't think it was a red, no. I don't think it's a red, Peter. I don't think he's particularly high. He catches him on the follow-through, but if you get a still on any tackle, you can freeze frame it, and it annoys me about social media. People putting stills up of a tackle.
Was
the guy could go through and win the ball.
Contentious, that one, that we are all...
No, I don't think it's a red card.
I'm going to give you an example.
I think it's a good tackle. I think it's a decent tackle.
I'll give you a wee bit of insight. Big Philippe was... I think we lost a player at Ibrox.
Is this the one he stands up in the press box?
So when Philippe was talking about tackling you tackle low. So you tackle down the way.
Yeah.
So what happens is sometimes where it becomes a bit messy is when you tackle and then you come up, and you then catch someone on the follow through up by the shin.
Yeah.
And he was really trying to encourage your people when they went to ground that you tackle down the way. So when you hit the ball, you're getting it down, so it was low, Peter.
That's an unnatural way of tackling.
No, and I know that, but he was trying to encourage people, Tam, because the one thing about it, in your day, what you were trying to do was you were trying to get the ball and then catch them up on the way through, and they used to get the crowd going, which was wonderful, because it was almost like scoring a goal.
Yeah.
You get everybody off their seat going, well, what a tackle. So what I'm saying is, their days are gone, so try and tackle down the way. And I thought Cornelius was on the way down.
Right.
Whereas you've seen it time after time, you go, oh my God, tackle, catch people in the shin, and then it looks worse than it really is.
Not red.
No, I don't think it was worth it.
Listen, at the end of the day, we're trying to give our thoughts
through
on
them
all
all,
of them. Now, here's one that I'm going to say, and it's not just something that I've said because it's a Celtic Rangers game. I'm going to say it for any of the games. I pointed out to you guys months ago because at the start of the season there was a suggestion from FIFA that they were going to embrace Arsene Wenger's suggestion that you've got to change this offside rule so that it favours the centre forwards, the strikers, so we see more goals. It is an entertainment, and you witness week in, week out this line where suddenly somebody's toe is in an offside position, whereas Wenger's saying the way forward is you need clear daylight between both players and the other.
Yeah, that's right.
So if there's clear daylight, he's offside. Yeah. But if there's if his arm suddenly just and the players played him on, you give the benefit to the striker.
Which is not interesting.
Raskin, by the way, is delighted that he's offside because he saved them the embarrassment of
it. They were
a
actually
goal.
all over the place. I seen a thing today, and I thought that's a really good point. So say the two of us are stood in line, and I've got a size 10 foot and you're a size 8, and I mean your heels are identical, and then you're offside. And you're thinking to yourself,
you're punished for having big feet.
You're punished for big feet. But do you know what I mean? And I thought it's a good point.
A big nose.
Yeah. And that
easy. As long as the tone out there.
I know, sir.
I'd be offside every day of the week.
I know. I was just about to say, Kenny Brannigan would never but
it can't be a different offside for the halfway line.
Imagine a manager saying which size of feet he's got.
By the way, it's funny.
It's a great point for Wenger, though.
Yeah, I would love.
Agree.
Let's see goals. Let's see.
Peter, if you need to draw two, we'll go to games to see goals and see excitement. Don't be chopping off goals for marginal offsides.
Deemed offside when he had nothing to do with it.
Yeah. Here's a great line. That it just brings it back to you. I think they were using Etch-a-Sketch in the Maeda goal. Well, Maeda was offside, but when it eventually got to the box, it ricochets off.
We've got the Fisher-Price VAR up here. We've not got all the angles at the Premiership.
No, I think that's another part that we accept. But listen, it's one of those ones where. Thanks for that, Tom. It's one of those ones where we've discussed, we've given your opinion. You might agree, you might disagree. Nobody is shirking away from the fact that Celtic won 3-1, and that brings us to the point, which is quite simply, Alec, there were chances. Chermiti missed an absolute sitter. Both goalkeepers, I think especially Butland, and by the way, can I just say something? I haven't put Butland in the team of the week this week, if only for the fact that
Callum's goal beat him.
Well, he's lost 3 goals. So it was between him and Schmeichel. I thought Butland's saves at times was unbelievable.
Yeah, I think he actually kept the scoreline down, Peter. And I actually think over the course of this season, he shipped one against Kilmarnock when he came to punch, and I think it went through to the back post.
Yeah.
But in the main, I think he's something like, is it 5 or 6 saves and penalties? It's like ridiculous.
6 out of 7 he's been.
Yeah, it's just so he's been one of the standouts, and he's had to be relied on time after time. And I thought he really kept him in him at times. And but again, if you're at a big club like Rangers or Celtic, you need your keeper to stand up in big moments, and he did keep them in it.
And talking of standing up, Ruffy, the one great thing that you associate with Schmeichel, his dad, and him, was Rangers had 2 brilliant, clear one-on-ones, and he stood tall and he waited and he tried to let the striker make the decision so he could react, rather than sometimes the striker waits to see what the keeper's going to do and then...
Yeah, so it's a new goalkeeping art now, isn't it? They spread themselves, and if they're not going to get it with their hands, they're going to get it with their legs or their foot. Yeah. And it is a technique of doing it, and he did it very well a couple of times.
The one thing I would say, Tam, sitting in the press box, and you always get a gauge, and you'll know because you've played in these games, but from the minute the game kicked off, you looked at the way it was, I was interested to see if Danny Rule was going to keep it all tight. And then you look at the way Martin O'Neill was going to play, and I was almost certain he was never going to adopt this constant tippy-tappy at the back. And he played a lot of diagonals in behind the back line at times as well. They were looking for that out ball, playing it more direct. I just knew in the first 10 minutes you thought Celtic are absolutely up for this. This is a different Celtic from the Brendan Rodgers, turgid stuff.
Yeah, it was. Listen, I don't think Celtic were direct, but as I said to you, I don't think you're going to see Scales and Trusty just passing the ball to each other 5 or 6 times before it goes wide. You know, they got the ball wide, they got crosses in the box, they got the ball in behind, they had pace up there with Kenny and Maeda, and they tested.
I thought Kenny was excellent.
Kenny was excellent. He occupied the two centre backs.
There's a lot of doubt about that boy.
Oh, listen, as I said, I thought, so see when you're, like as you're saying, you have that kind of technical ability to play through. See, once he picked her head up, Trusty and that, and they were hitting in the full-back areas, I thought Cornelius and Giga really struggled. More so on Giga's side, because you're just getting these brilliant runs and it gets them up the pitch. And I thought that the Celtic tactics were excellent in the first half because they were willing to play because of a possession-based team. But when the opportunity presented itself to hit in behind the outside centre-backs, I thought they were excellent. And then obviously the introduction of the young boy Osman. I thought,
I think you need pace to do that. I think obviously with Johnny Kenny, he wants to run in behind Peter. Iheanacho wants to come short, and I think that's been the difference. And Osman, we'll obviously speak about as well. Come on, looked really, really sharp. Where's he been? I mean, has he been locked in a cupboard or something?
The point I'm going to make
for the B team.
The point I'm going to make is this: with each game, with each minute, with each performance, it's another indictment on Brendan Rodgers and the way he went about his business, because Osman come on,
Trusty man of the match.
Johnny Kenny, you know, you're looking, you're saying he lots of Celtic fans saying he didn't look the business. Trusty comes in without that balance from the week before that he wasn't happy that I asked him about. Martin O'Neill plays him on the right side of Scales, no problem with his left or right foot, and those three players were nowhere near getting in the starting 11, and Martin O'Neill and Sean Maloney and Mark Fotheringham get a trick out of them. Yeah,
Callum Osmond, I think, has been playing with the B team. You know, he's been in Siberia, so he obviously come on during the week against Falkirk and look sharp, and then come on at the weekend and scored. So he's been excellent.
Is that not a case of when Iheanacho and then obviously
maybe next man up,
and then you've got Kenny, and then he'll maybe third or fourth in the pecking order. So when
he took his chance.
Oh no, I thought he was excellent.
I thought you got to get the boy Kenny. Huge amounts, you know, he was nowhere to be seen. A young boy thrown in there with all the guys they bought and all Maeda scoring all the goals, and you've thrown him in, and as you said, Peter, people are down. No, he's no quality, he's no what we should have up there, but he got a couple of goals in midweek, and you could see the young boys, you'll know, as young players, the confidence just oozes at them, and you could see at the weekend there,
the desire
really up for it.
See the desire to actually put goal in that first goal for Celtic. I thought it was really impressive.
And as a midfielder, and I make no bones about saying it, I did say it 3 or 4 weeks ago on the show, when again you tend to get that knee-jerk reaction from people who slaughter or dismiss a player when things are not going according to plan. McGregor for me is like a Rolls Royce at times. He's the best midfielder in the country.
Yeah, I have to say, I thought his performances in recent weeks, obviously the last couple of weeks he's been the driving force, but I felt as if it dipped a little bit, Peter, because his standards were so high. But for
the
years,
game, from then on,
for years he's been the number one midfielder. And the one thing I'll talk about Callum McGregor is, see if you want a number 6 and you want to mould a 6, and what you would say to a young boy, he gets on the ball, he dictates play, he speeds up the play when it suits him, he slows it down. So he is the quarterback, he just keeps pelting it about, and then also he traps up with really important goals because he's willing to pull the trigger, which you don't see for a lot of modern day 6s. They're happy to just play sideways and back and just possession based.
Yeah.
This boy's trapping up with goals. So last year he gets double figures. He traps up with the most important goal because that second one was really big for Celtic again yesterday. And then his leadership qualities. So if you're moulding a 6, Callum McGregor's the guy you're kind of looking at.
Yeah, and again, I take Alex's point on just dipping a little bit, but I thought at times, because of the standards, I think everybody else around him had dropped off Tam. I thought they were all woeful against Hearts.
Yeah.
McGregor was the only man that I
think he stepped up.
Pass marks.
I think before the Hearts game, if you asked any Celtic supporter or any neutral, you'd go, maybe he lost a yard. He just looked off it. It just, as Alex said, his standards are up there every year, year on year in.
55, 60 games a year.
Yeah, so people are thinking, well, maybe all these games are catching up with him, you know. But I think from the Hearts game, he was fantastic at Tynecastle in the first half, fantastic. And then he played well in midweek against Falkirk, and then he was superb yesterday. So I think he's thought, listen, I need to step up, I'm the captain, I need to lead the team here. And he's led the performances, as he's done for recent years.
Yeah, OK. 3-1, little shoots of recovery, room for optimism, I think, is the general consensus for Rangers. For Celtic, you know, Celtic fans will look and say, well, what do you think, Martin O'Neill? Should he be given a contract, or is it all about just give him the League Cup final, and then say thank you, and onwards to a new manager and a new plan with a younger man. Give us your thoughts on it. We'd love to know what you think, Celtic fans out there. In the end, it's Celtic in the League Cup final, and they're going to take on St Mirren. I must admit, I'll hold my hands up, Ruffy. I actually called both games wrong because I thought I knew it was going to go long with Rangers and Celtic, and I thought Rangers, because of the way he'd set up, they might nick it in penalties. But they got a different Celtic, and boy, did they get St Mirren. He's just an absolute master of working out how to beat their system.
Yeah, really. I mean, I stuck by. I think I was the only one that stuck by them on Friday.
Allison.
And I mean, it wasn't a tactical decision. It was because I think they've been quite.
Is it not because you get good hospitality there? No,
I've not been there for a while.
There's a reason, isn't there?
No, I think this season more than anything, they were the team that's been on the end of a VAR. I think there have been a lot of decisions that have went against them. So I thought they needed a wee rub of the green, but they didn't need it.
Did they get a rub of the green where the ball wasn't stationary, which led to?
No, that's. I mean, you get.
It's in the rule books.
I know, but it's
no, you're not having it.
It's moving.
Wait a minute.
It's not moving that much.
Wait a minute. Oh, so the boot onto Butland's head, it wasn't moving as much.
No, we'll see later on. Motherwell got a free kick.
Butland's head wasn't moving, was it?
Wait now. Later on, Motherwell got a free kick and they never took it for the right place. And nobody complained.
This is what Alex
nobody complained about it.
But you're missing the point. This is what Alex talking about. It's the inconsistency of it all.
The ball went in the box, you get kicked out for a corner. Defend the corner and stop moaning about a ball that's rolling.
That's not the issue. The issue is the incident that takes place. And the incident that takes place, the rules say, if the ball's rolling, and this is the one thing I would say to you about Nick Walsh, which I found really infuriating. He didn't want to let the players play quick plays. He brought it back, blown the whistle, took the momentum out of the game, to the annoyance of Rangers and Celtic fans.
Yeah. Well, there was a time that they done a give and go, and he brought it in the middle of the park when Raskin smashed one of the midfielders, and they were down the right hand side with Maeda. So I agree with you, the source of frustration. You know, it's a bit letting the game roll on for that period. But see, Barnes, you see if the ball's a yard or two, you can tolerate that. But see if the ball's moving. We had it last week when Tony Watt tried to play one and the ball was moving. I was raging. I'm going, you have to play on, but. And then the referee was quite right to point out that the ball was still moving.
Yeah. It's a free kick.
It's the same with the pulling jerseys and everything. We had the Shankland one last week against St Mirren. Yeah. If you watch any corner, people pulling people and things. I mean, how can you be that consistent?
This is not a 4-hour show about you saying, you know what you're delving into. And Alec knows this because he works every now and then in my old show that I used to be on, Super Scoreboard. It's called Whataboutery. What about that? But what about that? As if it's justification. You deal with the incident. The ball's moving. Take it back to the right place.
Is it moving much? Is it rolling away? Is it rolling? Wait, no, has it? You're saying the ball. You're saying the ball. Has it moved 5 yards? How far did it move?
It doesn't matter if it's moving. It's a free kick. Get it back to the right place.
But no, listen. I think that's the source of frustration with people because you would be looking for that to be brought back. However, I take your point on board that you still have to defend it because at that point you have everyone defending the box.
Yeah. Okay. In the end, it didn't make one blind bit of difference because St Mirren, to be fair to them, got a 4-1 win, and this is how both managers saw it.
We came here with no emotions today. A lot of people motivated us with things that were said, unfairly, unjustified in my opinion. And we used that as our motivation to show what a good side we are. And as I say, I'm delighted for the staff and delighted for the players.
The way to success at the end is always bumpy, and you have to lose a lot of football games to, in the end, to become successful and win something. So we'll have to live with that. That was the case today.
Well, I think he's right, because Stephen Robson will just probably be pinning up some of the cuttings if they do that even now, or maybe they just say, look, here's some of the social media that's been going on a big screen, let's ram it down their throats. Didn't get it on this programme because quite simply all of us have mentioned the fact that St Mirren can mix it up and play really good football.
Yeah, and listen, they played to their strengths. They've got two really physical, athletic strikers. And they got the ball in behind and turned Motherwell and made them defend. And Motherwell, I thought Motherwell started the game really, really well without creating too many chances. You know, they kept the ball a lot, but I think St Mirren let Motherwell have the ball in certain areas and just have the ball. You can knock it about there 40, 50 yards for a goal. You're not hurting us. We'll stay in a tight shape, and then we'll get the ball banked down the side of you. So, no, I thought St Mirren got their tactics spot on and they deserved to win the game. So, and I think they'll give Celtic a real test in the final. You know, I don't think it's a
gimme.
Celtic turning up and just winning the game. I think St Mirren will test them. And
can I ask you as a striker, you know, when you look sometimes strikers are lucky enough to be running onto the ball, but the really good ones, I'm thinking, do you remember the Thierry Henry goal against Manchester United? I think it was goal of the season. It kind of flicks it up and then automatically just hits it. Lindelöf doesn't even look. I mean, the ball just breaks to him, and then he knows where the goal is.
Top corner. No, I've got a brilliant goal, and as I said, I thought St Mirren, you know, really caused Motherwell problems in that final third with their pace and power. But I thought Phillips was excellent as well. I thought throughout the St Mirren team, you know, Gogic at the back, they're really got a great spine to the team. You know, and they're powerful and they're hard to play against, and they knock a ball about when it's on to knock the ball about, but if it's on to turn defenders, they'll do it, and it's hard to defend against.
Yeah, Lindelöf, Mandron and Ayunga at times occupy the back line brilliantly.
Yeah, but they actually have a particular way of playing as well. You know, it's not, as Tim says, it's not just route one and set pieces. Now, although they cause a lot of problems because of their physicality. Yeah. But as he says, Phillips, I've been impressed with him. You know, when you look at an energetic, powerful midfielder, you've got a Harrer in there as well. You've got Gogic, who is as dogged as you can get.
Can I pay him a compliment and kind of a direct
I like the guy.
Yourself? He's, for me, like a St Mirren Alec Ray. Capable of playing football.
Did he get double figures every year as well, Peter?
Yeah. By the way, see that couch there? That's the Mimi couch, isn't it? I'm trying to pay you a compliment.
I'm kidding.
Not only winding you up. But he is. Break up the play when it needs broken up.
Yeah.
You know, we're talking about being able to play football as well.
No, I like him.
And then he contributes. And his engine is a bit like yourself.
I actually like the fact that he's one of the guys that you would love to have in your team. I think if you were the opposition going, no, this guy again, because he's like a rash, he's all over you, he tackles aggressively, and he's so committed. So from a manager's perspective, you would think to yourself, this guy's a dream. But what he does is he sets a tone for everybody else, because he gets after people. Ahara, Phillips, they all get after people, and when you have that. And I also like the goalkeeper as well. Is it George?
Jamal George, yeah.
Oh, he looks quite cool as well, you know. So they've obviously got a real, as Tam says, I think they've got a lot of good attributes, and I think on their day they can beat anyone in the league. Yeah, but even at the back end, I mean, when you look at middle to front, which we've all been so complimentary about, the boy Freckleton's really caught the eye as well. On the back.
Yeah, well, we thought he wasn't going to be playing. I think Alisson thought he was injured and he was out the game, but obviously the midweek game that he was really impressive, and again he's come in, and we had Stephen in here, didn't we? And he was talking about his signing policy. And he goes, I'm 6 months ahead of everybody else. I've got somebody down south that's sourcing on.
Martin Foyle.
Well, I think it is actually. He's one guy, and what he says to him is, if he tells me that this guy is the real deal for us, he says, I trust him with my life. Yeah, but the thing is, the proof's in the pudding. You know, he done it with Motherwell and that as well. It's interesting. I played against him back in the day. I think he was a Port Vale striker, Martin Foyle.
That's right.
Yeah.
Aye.
I was at Port Vale.
Well, no, he was a handful, and he was a good goal scorer at a level. But see, when you're a manager and you've got a guy who you trust, and I think what they do is they shop really well at the lower end, with the greatest respect to these players. They shop down there because they know that they can afford to bring them up. Yeah. And then they just fit in brilliantly to what they're trying to do at St Mirren. Yeah, absolutely. No argument then. I mean, the quality of the goals. In the end, despite Motherwell making it interesting, Ruffy, St Mirren got a wee bit of luck there, but then they finished them off with style. Yeah, I thought they were great for the 90 minutes. You know, I thought what you saw in St Mirren is what you get. You know, it's in the tin. They just do it every week. They get used to playing that way, and you can see the more and more games that they're getting. The players are really buying into the formation and everything that they do. Foregone conclusion, the cup final, or is it a case of this one could be tricky? I think it just depends on when the goals get scored on the day. Yeah. You know, you would like to think if Celtic go ahead, then I think they might win that one. Yeah, interesting times. But it was a real strong. I don't know if you've noticed it, especially in the punditry. I'm not suggesting there's any kind of conspiracy, by the way. A real strong Northern Ireland contingent just working away successfully
in the background, Neil Lennon punditry, Steve Davis was there, Stephen Robbins was working, O'Neill's back,
Stephen Craigan,
they were all in there, you know, just...
I've got a bit of Irish background as well.
Yeah, absolutely, well done. Let's crack on. We all have. Really? So while we're all talking about cup semi-finals, sneaking in the back, just not maybe, getting the headlines that they deserve. Hearts 4, Dundee 0. And
you've got your Mirren top one the day, Ruffy.
9 points clear, Ruffy. 9 points clear.
Yeah, and a lot of teams will get games in hand. You've got to win them right enough, but certainly 9 points is very, very impressive. They dismantled Dundee quite easily. I can see Dundee been down there for a long, long time. Defensively, I don't think they defend properly. But again, I mentioned star man for me, Harry Millen.
Good player.
Yeah.
Sort of for Hull, sort of Thistle. You know, he's got a lot of attacking football. Defensively, a wee bit raw. I wasn't there when it happened.
Yeah.
We would have had.
Yeah, I admonish all responsibility.
Isn't it Ruffy spoke it?
Yeah, I have to say, the one thing about Derek McInnes that we have highlighted, and regularly lots of Hearts fans have highlighted as well, is the fact that he's got players to call on coming from the bench, making a positive contribution. One of them, Landry Cabor, and McInnes was fulsome in his praise.
He's a physical player. He's a good size, but he's got lovely feet. But the starting point for him is his aggression. He can't just go out and try and show he's a good player. And I think a wee bit he was getting the game the wrong way round at the start when he first came in. He wanted to show the lads he's a good player, which is fine. But what we need him for in Scottish football is to make sure he has that focal point and that kind of physicality to the front line, and then show your skills off the back of that, to be honest.
Yeah, actually, quite a lot of people talking about Hearts Shanklin. Cabor got 2, Magnuson got 1 at the end as well. I'd rather have the points in the bag, Tam. I know a lot of Hibs fans will not want to see Hearts win the league. Some people are saying, Billy Robb saying on here, Hearts have a real chance of second now. But they've got them in there, and you're looking at them and you're saying to yourself, if they can just get, as I said before, an advantage somewhere close to that January transfer window, boy, it's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, and they've got an opportunity next week to go to play on the Saturday against Dundee United at home to go 12 points clear before Celtic play Kilmarnock. So, yeah, they've got a real opportunity. I think the proof will be really in that Christmas period where there's tons of games. I think there's 7-8 games in December. Yeah. If they can come out, including going to Celtic Park, if they can come out of that with 6-7 point lead, then you think it's game on. But no, I was impressed with him at the weekend. Cabor, I think he's Burkina Faso scored a hat-trick for them a couple of weeks ago. So they're plucking these guys from nowhere. With the Jamestown Analytics, plucking a guy for, I think he played in Estonia. I don't know if it was him or the other winger. So they're getting good players in. They've got good strength and depth, and I think they rested Braga at the weekend. And so guys come in are scoring goals. Shanklin, great goal at the weekend. So they've got a real opportunity to go 12 points before Celtic kick a ball next week.
Now, can I just put this point to you, and this goes back to what you said at the start of the programme, Alec. If you have a situation where Hearts, let's just say they go 12 points clear, and Celtic have got Michelin and then Kilmarnock, and then you look and you say to yourself, let's just say they're 9 points clear. Do you risk with your appointment in that window a manager coming in who doesn't know Scottish football, who has to change the system of the players or change the message from what Martin O'Neill's doing short term, and then say, right, you're going to have to hit the ground running, and you'll get players in January, but you're going to have to hit the ground running and win every week.
Yeah, but I think whoever comes in will know that anyway, Peter. I think the DNA at Celtic is to win games. The expectation of the fan base is as well. And it's an interesting point because you're absolutely right, because obviously Brendan has had his style. Martin O'Neill's mixed it up a little bit more direct, as well as the possession based. And then you may well get a guy coming in and going, this is my philosophy, and you have to kind of... But ultimately you're going to have to get results because of the situation they find themselves in with Hearts in such good form. And but it's a really good question, by the way, because could it be during the international break? I know they'll have players away, but then you can start getting your ideas into half the squad. could that maybe help him to try and implement it? Buys you an extra week.
Yeah, and do you see enough from what Rangers produced in the second half and obviously the previous game as well to suggest to you, okay, everybody looks at it and offers their tuppence worth that Rangers will eventually start to get momentum and real hearts in too?
Well, ultimately, for Rangers' perspective, is they have to win games because of the gap. Was it 14 points currently where they have a game in hand? That's far too much. So you have to start reeling them back in and see how they cope. Then you'll have the head-to-head over what they've got another 3 of them. So there's plenty of games for Rangers to reel them back, but you have to contend with all the other runners and riders as well, and you have to get momentum because I don't think Rangers have had to go. I could be wrong. I don't think they've had 3, 4, 5 wins on a trot this year. So that's something they've not been able to do. However, I've seen enough. Was it 80 minutes? Was it 80 minutes yesterday? They played with 10 men and
yes.
they were really competitive within that period. So, you know, he's going to have to find a way. I find it fascinating because of the shape that they played there. He's obviously thought, I need to go with 3 at the back, shore it up a little bit. But I think there was vulnerabilities in that first half yesterday that other teams will look at and say, right, okay, if we can pin Rangers back, we can get possession of the ball, and then when they actually press with their wing backs, we can get in behind with our centre half. So I think there'll be stuff that opposition teams will be looking at yesterday and going, we can get joy against this.
I think the final third's a wee bit an issue for Rangers in terms of goals.
Yeah,
do you see somebody scoring 15-20 for Rangers?
I actually think if Danilo could get a real crack at it, I think Danilo has spoken. Actually, he's finishing, but. Again, for me, he has to play in a 2 because I don't think he has the physical presence to link the play. So I think he needs to play with.
Was it just tactical? He came off at half time.
Yeah, he took it. It was tactical. Yeah.
But see that point you're making though. You know, with regards to teams looking at Rangers, that weakness has been there for a long time.
But they haven't really played a back 3, Peter. That's what I'm saying. So,
no, but he's looking to get to January.
Yeah, and then
if he's worth his salt, he'll be saying, right, I'll tell you what I need. I need 2 of my own, maybe people that I know before, to come in and shore the back up, and then we can replace people that shouldn't be in that back line, and then I'll maybe get a striker.
Yeah, but again, it could also be another midfielder. I know they've brought Rothwell in, but he hasn't really kind of hit the ground running, and because it may well be a case that he needs a good number 6. Because Raskin, for me, you look at Nico Raskin, I think he's getting into the last 18 months. So he has to sign an extension, or you have to cash in, and you don't really want him going to his last year because the value will diminish a little bit.
Yeah.
So for me, that's an issue for Rangers going forward as well, the Raskin situation. So it could be a case of you either cash in, or you get him to double down and sign a longer contract.
And Ruffy, do you think Hearts second, or do you think Rangers will reel them in?
I think in this moment you've got to say Hearts second.
Can you not go over the line, Hearts?
No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
No, too much for them.
Well, listen, it would
Christmas period's huge, I think.
Yeah. Well, see, the counter argument.
The Celtic and Rangers.
The counter argument to that, Tam, is that see the way that Hearts are playing currently. Hearts could be further away.
They just need to beat all the rest.
You know, Celtic's current form. I know they beat Falkirk and I know they beat Rangers yesterday in injury time. But the form recently hasn't been great. So teams will be looking and think we can maybe nick points off of, obviously lost to Dundee, lost to Hearts. So it could even be more.
And Hearts will be playing this Saturday.
Yeah, but this
I think is crucial as well. Celtic Rangers are playing every Sunday.
And then you also have the European situation could be a factor. So what I'm saying is this could actually be more than 9 points.
Yeah, this is why I was telling you, this is why I was asking Alec and yourself about, yes, there are key games that they've played before, but it's the appointment of a new manager. You see, all these things could be thrown into the mix and might play into their hands. Can Hearts win the league? And of course, don't forget if you are...
Can you imagine?
Oh, these two. Oh my God. The full Hearts kit. No, it's going to be...
going for a night out in Edinburgh straight after it as well, am I?
It's going to be... Yeah, absolutely. We're straight out there to Cinderella's. It's an old night.
Cavendish.
Only Ruffy, Cavendish. Well, for Ruffy, more the Cavendish, But, grab a granny.
No. That was the Savoy, that's what I like was.
By the way, a couple of weeks.
Let's
party.
Let's not going up in the lift. But nevertheless, 4-0. Dundee, Stephen Presley, not happy.
When you come to play the top of the table team, the one thing you can't do is lose 2 goals from set plays, and that's really disappointing because we really pride ourselves on that organisation. So that made it a real uphill task for us, and in the end, we we found ourselves in the end of a 4-0 defeat and against a very good Hearts side.
Yeah, it's going to be a long battle. I was speaking to a Dundee fan yesterday, and I don't know what Dundee fans are expecting. The pressure of Dundee United being 4 points away from them, further up the table. I just think he's got to be given the season to try and do something.
Yeah, I think he is, but the unfortunate thing for us, the other two teams that we keep talking for are really fighting. Falkirk.
Falkirk won't be in the bottom three.
They're really fighting in there.
We've always said Falkirk.
Livingston's putting in a shift. They're scrapping.
Dundee, Livingston and Falkirk.
Dundee aren't scrapping away.
Switch Falkirk and put Kilmarnock in there.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, cause
I don't think Falkirk will be in the bottom three. I think they're too good at home.
To pick now because Kilmarnock a couple of weeks ago looked okay. Then all of a sudden Falkirk dismantled them at the weekend, Ruffy.
Poor goals, poor first half. You have to give credit to Falkirk. I thought they were very impressive. I think they again, have got a team of not individuals. They're all working together. They're on the final third. Big Brian's coming on, gets a head on, and everything seems to be going well for them at home. And it's a tremendous atmosphere at Falkirk. I don't know what the crowd is, 6,000-7,000, but it's great. It must be great. It must be great to be on the park when you're winning with that crowd behind you.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a good win for Falkirk. And then, of course, the Hibbies. What do you make of it? Threw it away?
Yeah, I watched the game, Peter. I thought they were really, really poor the first half. They scored after, 20 seconds? McGrath, great goal. And then I thought Livingston were by far the better side. And I think one each probably flattered Hibs at half-time. I thought Livingston could have been in front. And then Martin Boyle gets a goal. And then I always felt Hibs needed the third goal. Listen, we'll talk about the Bowie offside. I know Hibs have asked for another angle and they've not received it yet.
Will they receive it?
No, I don't think there is another angle from that camera. I think you've got to trust. But I looked at the still and I thought he was onside and I thought the line was drawn with squint. Maybe it's my eyes going squint. Again, it's probably a Fisher-Price mouse they're using. But I think that's incredibly tight and that's a crucial time in the game. But if you're asking me, did Hibs deserve to win? No. I thought the draw was a fair result. I thought Livingston played well.
Yeah, but
deserved the point.
I'm looking now, and you look at the table. Look at the table in the Scottish Premiership, and all I can say to you is quite simply, Hibs are third, and you're saying that some fans are a wee bit miffed with them.
Yeah, because I think they should be better. The level of investment in Hibs, I think they've spent 1 million, 1.5 million in the summer, on players, and they've won 3 games out of 11. And okay, they're sitting in third at the minute, but I think they should be further up the table. And I think, if Hibs are not in the top 4 this season, I think it's a very disappointing season.
Okay, interesting times. Ended up 2-2. Good point for Livy. Really tight in the Scottish Premiership. This week, the football, we'll keep our eye on it as well. There'll be a European show with Cara Henderson, Michelin against Celtic, Rangers Roma, and AEK Larnaca against Aberdeen. Some tasty games. Ibrox for Rangers Roma will be brilliant, Alan.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think they're 1 point behind Napoli, I think. So, I think that'll be a really difficult tie for them. And but they really need to try and get this campaign up and running. It's been a poor effort to date. They stone bottom, aren't they? Stone bottom of the table. So, they'll be looking for some sort of points to try and get it up and running, because otherwise it's just going to peter out and be a damp squib.
Yeah, I think all Scottish clubs' performances in Europe have been absolutely abysmal. We are going to be toiling, Ruffy, as we go down further into that coefficient table. We're going to be playing 2 and 3 qualifiers.
Yeah, and I think Aberdeen are down bottom as well, aren't they, in the conference, and obviously the other teams are picking up the coefficient points, so we're in trouble.
Scotland, 2 big matches. Can't wait for them. Greece away, Denmark at home. There's a little bit of optimism because he's got us in the battle, Ruffy, but you're just about to put a damp squib over the whole thing. He's named the squad, Shankland's in it. Are you happy?
I'm happy Shankland's in it, Obviously he's a better player than what he was last year. I just feel that we know what's going to happen. There's one of these 2 games we're going to fall flat on our face. I personally think we're going to end up in the playoffs, and I think we're going to lose out because we weren't good enough against the, I was going to say Diddy team there, but the team that we never scored enough goals against them, whereas everybody else had, and we didn't.
Yeah, okay, so quite simply, we've got Greece away on November 15th, and then November 18th, 3 days later, at Hampden Park, it's Denmark. And
must get something out the first game to make that second game a cup final, Peter.
I'm so glad you said that. Here's the Scotland manager, Steve Clarke.
We would have been delighted to be in this position, coming into the last 2 games of the qualifying campaign, having already eliminated one of the major threats in the Greeks. So they can't be involved in the playoffs. They can't be involved in the shake-up for first place. That doesn't mean to say it's not going to be a difficult game in Greece, because I'm sure they'll be fired up to prove that they're better than Scotland. But we're in a good position. What we have to do is make sure that we get the result we need in Greece to make the Denmark game here a cup final.
It'd be fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah, without doubt. It'll be fascinating to see how Greece actually approach that, because clearly they can't do anything within the group. Whether they might, it could be a case of the manager goes, you know what, I'm going to get rid of some of the older guys, maybe give us some of the younger boys, which may well help us a little bit. But I'm under no illusions, it's going to be difficult over there. I thought Greece were actually quite impressive at Scotland without getting that actual result.
Okay, so are we doing it?
I'm very hopeful. I'm hopeful that we can get the result over there, and then obviously bringing it back to.
I think a harder game's Greece away than Denmark at home. Honestly, I just think Denmark at home, if you're needing to win it, looks after itself, full handing. I think Greece away is the one for me, where you're thinking they just need to get something out of that game, a point, and then you get into that needing to beat Denmark to get to top the group.
Yeah. Okay. Over the next few weeks, we are going to be not only talking domestic and international football, we'll be giving you lots of offers, some really great incentives to subscribe to PLZ Premium, as well as the one that we have going at the moment. It's a chance for you to be in the draw to get yourself off to the Puskas Arena in Budapest for the Champions League final in 2026. We've got 2 tickets, flights and accommodation for you and your pal. It is a trip to remember. All you have to do is be signed up to Premium for the season, and you're in the hat for that one. But with our new sponsors, and there's lots more coming on board with Cameron Commercials and Adapt to start with, we'll be offering you great incentives, not only to take advantage of what they have on offer, but we've got competitions and quizzes coming up, Ruffy. It is all happening.
Certainly is, you know, and obviously that big prize at the end of the season, I think we'd all want to win that, wouldn't we?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing at a time, Ruffy. Let's concentrate on the Christmas party. Anyway, thank you to Alan Ruff, who's been in vintage form. When a rule doesn't suit his agenda, he then throws you off to another example elsewhere. Is that fair, Alec?
Yeah, absolutely. No consistency with this guy at all.
I thought he was going to dig out Maradona in '86 with the handball rule.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way,
Never gave that.
Just leathered him with the theme of the show, which is consistency and inconsistency. One thing you'll consistently get, though, is an opinion. Some you like, some you don't. But we do value you watching the programme. If you can, please subscribe to PLZ Soccer. Interestingly enough, tomorrow on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel, we've released the interview that I conducted last week with the respected sports journalist Roddy Forsyth. It is an interesting trip through Roddy's career as a journalist, and he is very emotional and very honest about how he's dealing with Parkinson's disease. It is well worthy of you casting your eye and your ear over it. You'll be able to download it in the podcast and watch it as well. Don't forget, Women's Football Show. We've got the journos as well for you to enjoy. Lots more straight talks. There's lots of things happening in PLZ Soccer. From Ruffy, Tam, Alec Ray and myself, Peter Martin, thank you for listening and watching.